What's going on, y'all? This is Sam Thory, and we're doing part three of our series on setting up a marketing site for a SaaS product using Cursor. And our tech stack is Next.js, we have ShadCN, we're using Aceternity and probably Magic UI, as well as eventually using Supabase and Sanity for a headless CMS, along with tRPC for type safe APIs. It's just a really seamless process with that. We also use React Query with that. So a lot of stuff going on there, and we'll probably throw in some other technologies when we can. We are using Next 14, so you might know that Next 15 came out just a couple of days ago, and I was going to go ahead and move this over after I did the first video to Next 15, but I noticed that there are some initial issues going on with it. So I'm just going to give it a week or so, and we'll probably start a brand new project after this using Next 15 or just upgrade this. There's a lot of dependencies that we have with like Supabase and Sanity, and they may not be ready for Next 15 with React 19 yet. So we'll hold off. That's okay. Um, so this is our initial setup that we have. The hero that Cursor helped us create for Streamline IQ, our business, and you'll see that it's not terrible, but it's not great either. We have this weird thing going on here. We do have ShadCM buttons, and then we have this animation in the back that you can kind of barely see. Um, so this is a good start. This is for our homepage. If we go back to our code base here, and just one thing I'm going to do, there's an extension called Peacock that you can, if you have multiple text editors open at the same time, it can sometimes get really confusing as to which project you're working on. So I use Peacock, and it adds just a little color around it. That's really hard to read, so or hard to see. That's a little bit better. And I have other projects that have other colors, so I know whenever we're going into Streamline IQ, it's this orangish brown color, and I can always look for that, or orangish red, whatever it is. Um, anyways, so first things first, we did set up this initial hero on the homepage that you just saw there. That's this component. And where is that? Okay, so it's over here. We need to kill this. We're just going to clean that up for now. And we have the hero. And we also have two components that were brought in through the CLI for ShadCN and Aceternity. The first one we'll look at is button. This is from ShadCN. And I didn't write this code. This is just a CLI command that you run once you've initialized ShadCN. So we did that already in the first one. And then we pulled this in with the CLI command. So we also have background beams. This is coming from Aceternity. And you'll see that there's, an array of SVG paths, it looks like, that will probably get mapped right down here. Yeah, so we don't have to understand everything going on here. We can fully customize this though. So this is our code to mess with now. We could also pass in different props if we wanted to customize it without actually touching this and messing with the default state of it, the default styles. Excuse me. So that is those two components that we have, and then again the hero. And then we also have this guy here, cursor context, that we've worked quite a bit on. And this right here is essentially the information that Cursor will need to be able to make decisions about content going on the site, what makes sense for this type of marketing site, and it will just lead to better decisions going forward. So we have, for example, about us. This is just a markdown file for the content that'll initially go on the About Us page. We have the same thing for the contact page, features page, home page, how it works page, and pricing page. We also have business overview, which is just a general overview of the of Streamline IQ, this fictitious business that we have. And we can feed this into Cursor at any time and say, hey, remember our project, this is what it is. Create this with this in mind. This essentially just context that we are stuffing in here. We also have the color palette defined here as well. So this is also just, also human readable, but will be LLM readable. So this is a great setup, a great start. Excuse me. One thing that we're going to do, just so that we can get a little bit organized and understand kind of an order of operations that we want to take without having to define that on our own, we're going to involve Cursor in creating a checklist for us of what we need to do from this point forward. So I'm going to go ahead and hit Command I, and that's going to open up Composer. And I don't want to use color palette, but actually what I'm going to do is highlight all of these and right click there, add files to Composer. Let's try that one more time because it doesn't look like that one. Oh, I'm sorry. So when you do that, sometimes or always it moves this down. I just move it back in there. I'll make this a little bit bigger for y'all. Okay. There we go. We'll close that up for now. Okay, so we have all of these files kind of queued up in context for Cursor Composer. And we're going to create this checklist. So I want you to take all of the files I fed in to this chat and create a checklist of what we need to do going forward. Keep in mind, we've just begun working on the hero of the homepage. We've initiated ShadCN, and that's about it. We're going to use, I'm going to do @Supabase, @tRPC, @Sanity. So we're going to use these in our project. So keep this in mind when building out the checklist. I'm just going to give it a little bit of a directive to be thorough and take its time. So please be thorough and add as much detail as you can. Save this to a file called tasks.md in @cursor context. Okay, so hopefully that covered most of it. We can always add to it. We'll open this back up. I'm hitting Command B to open up a little side hatch here, and we'll see how it's working. So it should create that task.md in just 1 second here. All right. Okay, so we have set up a Next.js 14 project with the app router. We know that's done. I'm just gonna hit accept all for now. We'll just add a little X. Initialize TypeScript for type safety, yes. Install and configure Tailwind, yes. Set up shadcn and Radix. We don't have to set up Radix. Ensure all components are functional. Declarative programming. Okay, that sounds good. Backend setup. Set up Supabase for database and authentication. Probably not going to have authentication here. Maybe we will. Create necessary tables and configure RLS. That's fine. Set up Supabase auth for user management. Again, I'm not sure if we're going to authentication here, so we'll put that on the back burner. We could, for sure, and there's different methods to do authentication. Supabase has its own authentication. There's other packages that you can build in as well. tRPC, for sure. Define routers and procedures for API endpoints. That's good. Integrate tRPC with React Query for data fetching. Perfect. Set up Sanity as the headless CMS. Define schemas for content types. Yes. All right. So this is all stuff that we would definitely do for Sanity. Front end, develop homepage hero section using shadcn. So this isn't really in the order that I was hoping it would be. I don't necessarily know if we want to set up Supabase right away, but I suppose we could. And essentially, we're going to use Supabase to hold our contacts for our contact form. And if we, again, decide to do sign in, sign up functionality, authentication, we would use that for it as well. It would store that information for us and encrypt it. So maybe we will adjust it. Maybe we will set up Supabase today with tRPC. Okay, so let's adjust and start with setting up at tRPC. Oops. And at Supabase, but no authentication yet. We just want to have the initial setup created in our app. Make sure you are using the most up-to-date information on setting this up well with a next. So we'll call out Next.js specifically here. 14 app and using at, let's see if I have React Query. No. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and grab some docs here. We've talked about this before, but essentially we're gonna go out to React Query docs, and that will be right here. And all we have to do is just hit copy this link, and Cursor will do the rest in basically indexing those docs and keeping that in context. So we'll do at, and we'll hit docs, and we'll hit add new doc, and just type it in there. And this will be React Query. Confirm. Okay, so we're pulling it in right there. Use best practices. I have another app that we have this exact setup on that we could actually give Cursor access to through GitHub and have it follow those patterns, which I want to do actually, and make sure that it stays consistent with the patterns that I've been using and I understand it, and my code base is always consistent across different projects. So I'll go into GitHub here and hit Raleigh AI. This is the project. And I'm just going to copy the URL. Come back over here. Follow patterns set up in at get. Okay, we're going to allow it. And I need this. Just have to authenticate really quickly here. Continue. Continue. And that's my company, so I'm not going to authorize them. And I'm going to use my password. Hopefully I remember it. Nope. Oh, goodness. All right. Third time's the charm. Okay, so now I should be able to go in here and let's see how I can do this. So that allows me to access Git for this project. Sorry, I haven't done this before. Let's see, code? No, not that. Let's try code base. Nope. That's interesting though. That just takes everything. Should have used that before. That's good. Okay, that's fine. We will just do the web, or just the nope, not that guy. All right. Let's go back and we grab this again. Here we go. Oh, dang it. What's that thing called? All right. So here we go. This is quite a bit for it to do, and we may have asked for too much here. But let's see. Let's start with up at the top. To set up tRPC and Supabase in your Next.js 14 app with React Query, we'll follow best practices and patterns similar to those used in the Raleigh AI Solutions repository. Perfect. Here's a step-by-step guide to get you started. First of all, we're going to do this, but excuse me. Keep in mind we're using pnpm, not npm. So we're going to do add pnpm add at tRPC/server at tRPC/client. Cool. So now we'll see how we're doing over here. So it created everything in an src folder with pages. Oh my. Not what I was expecting, so this is not great. We're gonna have to have it go back. At least the part about installing was correct, except it was npm instead of pnpm. Okay, this is incorrect, and using the src folder in pages router, I don't use the src folder, and I'm using the app router, which it should know. Please adjust. Please try again, because all of that was useless. Okay, so this happens sometimes, and it's part of the process. We're gonna have to see how it does here. We may have to just remove this completely. So we're doing some stuff in the layout for tRPC and React query. That's good. Again, though, these need to be moved out of here. Or am I just not using them anymore? Could be. Okay, so now we have this Supabase. We have this tRPC. So I need to install some stuff first. This. Okay, we're not using that. I think everything in SRC can just be killed now. Okay, all right, that's gone. Let's accept everything else, knowing that we're gonna have some errors and we're gonna have to deal with it. So let's do pm add at Supabase / Supabase JS. Should be good there. Yeah. Okay, I think we're good. Yes, that is good. Okay, we go to layout. We know we have an error here that we need this guy. Okay, so we're getting React query in here. We have route, or the tRPC API route. Add context if we need it. We don't for now. We have the utils for the tRPC. Okay, I need add tRPC React query. All right, good there. And let's just take a look. So let's have it, please review at, let's try this at Codebase and ensure the setup is correct now. Again, please compare to specifically, I need some stuff from here. Oops. And let's see, so we have our tRPC folder and we have a Supabase folder. And this is actually just functions, so I don't need that yet. In app, in site, we have API tRPC / is it the same there? It's not. Okay, so we need to add a folder here that's actually tRPC. Oops. Good, and then we're going to drop route in there. Move. And just going to make sure that this is the same. If not, yeah. So our setup's wrong. That's okay. So we're going to take that. That's fine. And I'm going to go back over here and just make this a little bit bigger. Whoops, that's too big. Okay, a little bit bigger for you guys. So we're going through the site. This is Raleigh AI. And let's see. We essentially want everything that's in here without the added stuff. This guy. So I need this. And I'll pull this, and this is called, I'm sorry, client.tsx in the tRPC folder, which I don't have yet. need this here, so I'm going to take this out. And I'm going to create a new folder. Nope, not there. At the root route, tRPC, and new file in there, client.tsx. Boom. Drop that in, and we're missing a bunch of stuff. That's fine, because we're going to bring it in. The init we need, copy the raw, init.tsx maybe? Let's see what that was. Init.ts. Should have known that. Okay. Go back over here. Query client. I'm going to take all of that. Need to install super.json. Okay, and then we have our server here. /routers/app. Okay, I need that. Okay. So we're going to create a folder here for routers and new file underscore app.tsx. Drop that in there. And now we need to add some things. We're also using Zod as a schema resolver. So that's a great addition, as well as using React hook forms with that for contact forms. You can really lock it in and make sure that it's validated both on the front end and back end here. So we're going to add Zod. And we can see that we need @/lib/db. So if we go back here, we have lib, we have db. We have two files, index, and we're going to be using Drizzle as well. So this is in lib, nope, not a new file, new folder called db. I believe this was index.tsx or tsx. All right, so let's get some stuff going here. pm add, no. Oh my. Jeez Louise. I'm just gonna kill it. That's scary. I need to copy this. I'm gonna add this. That's not right. Dear Lord. That's strange. Okay, I didn't want to do that anyways. It's likely just Drizzle or ORM, and that's why I was messing up. Okay, all set there, and we need to do Postgres as well. pm add Postgres. Good. Okay, so we're going to go back here, and we have this schema that we're actually not going to use all of, but we can use some of it actually, so we don't have to do it twice. And I'll give you guys a link to this project, the Raleigh AI project, so you can just have a baseline. I'll also give you a link to the Streamline IQ project, so that you can copy this if you need to. Okay, so again, we're not going to use all of this, but Drizzle ORM, we need that import. I think we're going to use this contacts. We're not going to use the newsletter subscribers yet. We can add that later, or the gated assets. So that can come later as well. Okay, so we have contacts where we're going to have an ID. It's a primary key. That'll be unique. Name, email, message, and a created at time. So the form, they'll be able to put in their name, their email, and then a message. And dot, not, null, these are all required in this case. So we're looking good there. Let's just go back and see what we have going on here. I don't need these anymore. Let's just comment and uncomment because we do have this now. Nice. This part we're not using yet. So again, this is something that we're going to have to kind of clean up a little bit. We are going to have submit contact form. Get post. So this is stuff from the other project that we're going to take out for now. Do all of that. See how we're looking. Take this out. And we'll see what the issue is here. Not 100% sure, but what we can do here is take a look in the chat. So we'll just hit this AI fix in chat button. You can see right here it's going through, hitting Drizzle ORM, SQL insert with Drizzle. So let's see what it's got. Schema definition is yeah, I have that. Let's do a reload of the window. So it seems like we should be good there. Maybe not. You never know. Do we still have the error? I think we're good. Okay, let's look through everything else. We definitely still have this error. What is this nonsense? Nah. That shouldn't be a problem. Hold on a second. Let's do another reload window because I don't know about that. Okay, still an issue. But let's go over to our client.ts in this other project. Client.tsx is the problem. No, it's not. Sorry. Could be a versioning issue. So we are using tRPC here, which is tRPC client. Right here, create tRPC from @tRPC/React query. That is 11.0 RC532. Let's see what we got. Okay, so we're on a different version of all of those actually. So what we are gonna do is take all of these, because it looks like they all need to be on the same version. We have @tRPC client, next, React query, server. And client, we don't have next in here, we need it. And let's just run pmp add. Oh. And let's go back over here. Let's see if that fixed it up for us, hopefully. Perfect. Looks like it did. Okay, so we just gotta make sure that we're always on the right version in between different projects. But the overall lesson here is that Cursor failed miserably at being able to set this up for us with, you know, a fairly straightforward ask. It's not always going to get it right, but we have plenty of examples, and sometimes it's better to use like ChatGPT or just plain old Google to find the blog article that might explain exactly what you're looking for, and then feeding that in to Cursor. So that may have been what we could have done there. It's probably what I did in the first place to get this set up for the other project. But let's take a look. So it looks like everything should be good there. I'm going to look in the other project in the utils folder and see if we have those other two files at all. I'm thinking we don't. Close this up. Yeah, I don't even have a utils folder. So, yep, that's good. Supabase client. I'm gonna take that one and put it in the lib for Supabase, and I believe that's the same as this one here. Probably very similar. So, new file. This is Supabase client.tsx. Okay. So, we don't need that or this anymore. We're going to delete these and see if we have any dependencies elsewhere on those, which we need to adjust maybe. Probably in the layout. Let's take a look. Okay, so I need to change this. I don't have @server/router/app. That's what we need. Server. Okay, I think I just need this. So server tRPC.ts. New folder, server. Oh, already have it. Okay, tRPC .ts. Drop that in here. And then back over here. Very confused about this. If I go back over here, this API must be different. Yeah. Here we go. This should do it. Pull this in, and we should be good. And we'll take a look at layout, and again, we have this issue. So let's take a look at our layout over here. We're not going to pull all of this time. We are going to take tRPC provider and take out this stuff. Don't need it anymore. Oh, okay. And we're just going to let our guy do the rest of the work there. This is in the client, and I can hit that, and we're good to go. Don't need this anymore. Okay, so let's see what's going on here. Oop. Oop. There we go. I must have hit a button. All right, so we have our setup. We do for tRPC and Supabase. It was a lot, and it didn't go as planned, but we had a good backup in that we understood how it worked in the past and could duplicate that. Now, there's other options that you could use. If we look at like Next.js, Supabase, tRPC template, I wonder if we'll get anything. I don't see any. I'm not sure what this is here. No, I'm not going to do that. Okay. Yeah, so we could take a template. Next.js has some starters, and actually Next.js now has built-in Supabase databases where the dashboard is essentially in Vercel, and all of your billing would be in Vercel as well. So you have one place. But since we didn't do that, and we had a solution already that we could use, we took from Raleigh AI Solutions and copied as much as we could. Now there could be some issues still, but without fully setting this up in Supabase and building out the form, or at least building out some check, we don't necessarily have to have the form yet. We're not going to fully understand what's going on yet. So it's a good place to stop. We got quite a bit done. We added quite a bit, but it doesn't have any actual functionality yet. What I can tell you though is that whenever we want to add a new table, for example, into our database, is very simple with tRPC and Supabase connected like this. And then we'll talk about the actual connection both on the server side components and client side components once we get this fully integrated. That part won't come into play as much with Supabase as it will with using a headless CMS like Sanity, where we're pulling data in. Some of it should be served on the server side as much as possible, so it's quick. Some of it has to be served on the client side. Sometimes if you have state manipulations or some kind of lifecycle actions going on. But if we wanted to set up a new table, for example, we could set something up very similar to this in our schema. We don't have to do anything to our index. This is just like a connection point. So all we have to do is just create a new schema for our new table. And we add a route for it, basically in tRPC. So we have this router underscore app. And we have these functions basically that use, again, Zod to do some validation first. So we're making sure that the name's a string, email's a string, message is a string. Then we're using Drizzle to insert the contact with those values being passed in, console logging it, and then returning success. So this is using a server action instead of an API route to be able to do this. And it's very simple. So if we wanted to add another one, if it was, just a new contact form or like a newsletter form, we could probably just copy paste this, change out the inputs, add the schema, and we're good to go. So we have a really good boilerplate here that's easy for us to understand, and it's easy for Cursor to understand and duplicate. Now again, Cursor failed us, but that's part of this. Like, we are the test subjects of LLMs. It's not going to work all the time, but you have to understand the limitations. We said right off the bat we asked for way too much, and we definitely did, and it got way confused. And instead of the approach that we took, the other approach would have been to kind of break it down into more simpler tasks. So going forward, that's likely a better approach for us to take. But this did get the work done. And again, I'll provide links so that you can see how this is set up in the other projects as well as this project. All the rest of this, though, is just boilerplate that we need, though. So there's only two files that will change from here on out, the schema and the app. When we're adding sanity, there'll be something else that we have to add as well, or change as well. Basically, the schema for sanity. But that's it. And that opens up a ton of opportunities. So it's probably a good stopping point. We added a lot. What we will do next time is create that connection point in Supabase. So we don't have a Supabase account connected to this at all yet. So we'll connect there, and we can probably build out the form if we wanted to, or maybe we'll work on the UI a little bit and go further deep into that. But I would like to get this fully connected at some point to show you guys, like, you get it, you get this all set up, we build the form, it submits to Supabase, and you see how fast it will submit with tRPC enabled, with React Query and everything enabled. So we'll get to that. But for now, thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to like and subscribe if you did. And keep in mind, I'm not editing these videos. This is raw so that you see when we get stuck, this is how we fix it. This is how we get beyond it. This is the conversations that we have with Cursor and the troubleshooting that we do. I don't want to make this so that it's polished and perfect and you don't see the struggle, because that's what coding's really about, is that struggle. So hope you enjoyed it. Thank you again.